Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rekakadash. Yahweh been the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shah been the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Now, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1, on down, and start breaking down what would happen in the end of the world. And it started explaining how the Israelites would be standing up in great boldness. Now, when you go to Ezekiel 37, it breaks that down. When you go to Revelations 11, it breaks it down and show how the Israelites will have an awakening, that the spirit of life from God would enter into them. And that spirit of life was seeing the prophecies, and the prophecies was going to shut down all lies and all darkness that was thrown on them, and it was going to uncover the lies. Like in Isaiah 25 and 7, it was a covering cast, a veil. It was going to take that veil off of them. So you got the same scenario being talked about multiple places. You see this awakening. Now Yahushua alluded to the situation when he talked about the resurrection, because the resurrection is literal, but it's also it's figurative. It's also like a similitude, parable, metaphor, because spiritually the Israelites was going to awaken, and it was going to be in the last days. See? And so anyhow, when you go into it, you see that the enemies was going to have a reaction to the situation. The enemy was going to realize what's going on. Because in Psalms chapter 2, verse 2, it talks about they was against God and against His anointed. In Psalms 83, it talks about how they was against God, making plans and schemes and consulting with one another with one consent to hide the identity of the Israelites, to put them to sleep, to keep them asleep. And so that's what Joel was talking about in chapter 2 when he said the Spirit of the Lord was going to pour upon the sons and the daughters and the female slaves and the male slaves. It was going to pour, the Spirit was going to pour upon them, and they was going to be able to understand the prophecies. They was going to be able to understand what was going to happen in the future. See, they was going to be able to have hope in these last days. So when you go into those prophecies, it tells you that it's going to be a recompense for the Israelites being in bondage under a wicked nation. That this wicked nation will get punished. Acts chapter 7 talks about this when it came to the Egyptian. He said he was going to punish that nation that had that promised seed in captivity. And the so-called white man, the slave master, the Edomites, with all the other nations, they was gonna fit the place of the Egyptians, and that was gonna be the similitude. Spiritually, that's what Revelation 11 and 8 was talking about. There was gonna be that spiritual Egypt. Romans 9 and 17, they was gonna be raised up like Pharaoh, so the Most High can show his power. So he raised the so-called white man up so he can show his power. Now when you go into when he was gonna wake up the Israelites, it gave some details. It says in verse, let's see here. In verse 2 it says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. See, they gonna be troubled with terrible fear, because not only is the salvation gonna be troubling, but you're gonna have the awakening the whole situation. Because first of all, the righteous man, which are the Israelites, they was the only one given the laws to know how to be righteous, and the only one given the understanding of the law in order to be righteous. So they are the righteous. And it say, when they saw all these things, the Israelites standing up in great boldness, see them getting rescued by God. Terrible fear. Now Revelation 11 and 11, it say when they stood upon their feet, all that saw them, fear came upon all that saw them. Same thing with Ezekiel 37 and 10, or in 11, around about the 10 and 11 verse. It say they stood up as an exceedingly great army. It was enough of them that stood up that it was like an army. You see? So when you look at Revelation 12 and 12, and it talks about he had great anger because he knows he has but a short period of time. When you look at what else? It said 2nd Ezra 16 and around about the 67th verse, it showed how that there would be a great multitude of these heathens with burning wrath, with a burning wrath, because they know that they got a short period of time. They seeing that the Israelites has awakened, and they are an exceedingly great army. You see, if they was to formulate an army, it would be a problem. So this caused great fear, and that great fear was gonna cause wrath. See, it's like a cat or an animal, which the so-called white men in these other nations, they are called beasts in the Bible. We know about beast is synonymous with animal. See, that beast-like mindset, that animal-like mindset. When these people get scared, a cat, you put a cat in the corner, that cat ain't gonna just ball up and start being friendly. That dog or that lion, they're not gonna ball up and start being friendly to you once they see they're in corner, they got nowhere to go. No, they coming out fighting. The wrath gonna build up in them. They gonna become very violent, very wrathful. And so this is what's going on with these Edomites mainly, because they are the ones in power. They have the power, they have the military, they have the blessing of the sword, so they can they're going to be the main ones in wrath. And they can assemble their armies and attack. So that's why the Most High say, I'm going to gather the nations. Because, first of all, his spirit gathered the Israelites, and it was going to be a snowball effect. Once his spirit gathered the Israelites and woke them up, these nations was going to see it, and these nations was going to know that these people are about to take over now. That the scriptures was telling the truth. The scriptures is dead on. God is going to give these people rulership over us. God is going to give these people power over us. You see, these people is going to be able to put us to death like we able to put them to death. See, he giving them power to kill like he gave us power to kill. You see? So these people is in terrible fear. When somebody pull a gun on you and you ain't got no gun, you become in terrible fear. Fear start to come upon you. And this is what's going on with these heathen, with these other nations. The doctrine and the prophecies destroy everything that they coming with. They can't defeat it through the spirit, through the mind, through conversation. It's undefeatable because the prophecies is written in stone. The prophecies is written on paper, and it can't be debunked. The whole Bible is for the Israelites, written by the Israelites. You see, that one fact cannot be refuted. That one fact cannot be challenged. You see? So it's a clear situation, and the wrath and the fear has come upon these people like a dog or a cat that's barking. See, that dog, he in fear. That's why he's barking, raising the alarm. You see, that cat, it's in fear. That's why it's raising the alarm. And so, pretty much, this is what we're experiencing now. And since they have the power over the food, the clothes, what's that, Deuteronomy 28:48, they have the power over all things. See? And they can make all these things start to disappear. They can cause a famine. See? They can cause the life of the Israelites to be hard. What? Revelation 12:17. It says that they was wrath with the woman and waged war with them. Let's see if I can get it. I'm in transit, making a quick lesson. See if I can get it. Revelation 12:17. See, when they see that their time is running out, they begin to be fearful and be scared, like a scaredy cat. See, like a scared animal, ready to fight their way out of trouble. See, that's what it said, the terrible fear and trouble. And see, they waging war with the Israelites because they got power over the Israelites. See, they can contaminate the water, contaminate the air, contaminate all of these things. And so that's why Yahushua in Matthew 24 and 20, around about the 21st verse, talks about the great tribulation. And then around about the 22nd verse, he talks about that no flesh would be saved, because these dragons has waged war against the Israelites, and they want to do anything to kill the Israelites. They want to do anything to get rid of the Israelites. You see? And that's why these other nations and these people are going to turn on Babylon the Great America, because they know they have but a short period of time, and that most of the Israelites are over in this land. See, they hearing that most of the Israelites is over here. What was that? Job 12 and 15, I think, where it talks about in his prosperity, it's a dreadful sound is in his ears in his prosperity. See, in his prosperity, he hearing a dreadful sound. He hearing that these Israelites are going to take over and put him in chains. See, what do people do when they see the police coming and they got a weapon and they see the police coming to lock them up? A lot of the time, the people have a shootout with the police. A lot of the time, the people don't just surrender and wave the white flag. They have a shootout with the police. They use the weapon that they got, and they go to releasing bullets, using that weapon, trying to free themselves from being captured. And this is what's going on with these Edomites. See, Deuteronomy 28 and 48 tells the whole story. See, when you have all power is one of all things. See, when you have the control of all things, now you can wage war on people. You can make war with the saints. See, because you have power over these things. What's that, Micah 2? Micah chapter 2? You have power to wage war. You have power to be on your bed thinking about ways that I'm gonna get at these Israelites. You on your bed, you at night, you holding meetings in your private chambers, these bigger bird meetings, these UN meetings. You having these meetings trying to figure out how we gonna destroy these people. See, you got these UN meetings, these international bankers, they meeting up together under the covers, trying to plan on how they gonna defeat these people. How is we gonna conquer them? How is we gonna destroy them? We got all power. See, that's why Micah say when they got the power in their hand, they gonna try to destroy the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And see, this is how they waging war, because they got all power. But I'm gonna leave it there. So, all praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves. Shalom.